What's up, you guys? My name is Hutch, and I make videos and put them on the internet. Last week, I was fortunate enough to get an invite to the closed alpha for Rainbow Six Siege. Highly anticipated Tom Clancy title that was announced at last year's i3. i3 is a huge event, guys. It's going to catch on real quick. Last year's E3, I believe, is when it was announced, but I'm not 100% on that. I got a chance to play it all day last Thursday or Wednesday, whatever day, I think it was Wednesday. And I played enough of it to form an opinion, like a tentative opinion on the game. And I say tentative because this was a closed alpha and there were a lot of features that were either absent or, like noticeably absent that I have to assume would be in the full game, but I'm not 100% sure. So what I'd like to do today is talk to you guys a little bit about how I felt about the game overall, and what I'd like to see change from the alpha to the full game. And actually, for the sake of being concise and making a coherent video, I wrote down a list of likes and dislikes. I usually don't write myself notes, but because I felt it was important to be specific on the things that I wanted to cover, I went ahead and wrote one out. So I'm going to start with the dislikes. And these are, I'm going to put these in the category of things that are in the alpha, or that aren't in the alpha that I assume will be in the full game. And if they're not, it would just be completely mind-boggling. So for the closed alpha, there was no party system, which I thought was kind of strange. Maybe they wanted everyone lone wolfing it. Maybe because it was a closed alpha and there wasn't a whole lot of people playing it, they didn't want. And then I just unaccidentally team shot my team member there. Maybe they didn't want full parties of 5 just going in and stomping everybody. Maybe they wanted everyone to be on a level playing field. But I've just never seen it done like that before. I've never seen when a game goes into beta or alpha that they just close off the party system. The other thing too is that there was no push to talk for the comms, for the communications, which was kind of annoying, especially if you were streaming. You didn't want to be in a pain in the ass for the people on your team. So obviously those are two things that I really would like to see in the full game. I have to assume they'll be in the full game with the way that you can regulate your own communication so you're not bothering your team, or make it easier to mute someone on the other team. As it stood right there, you could mute people on the other team, but it was actually kind of tricky to do that. You only had like a 3-second window in between rounds to mute them, and it was kind of a pain in the butt. So another thing that I didn't like is that when you sprint in this game, it barely feels like you're running faster than when you're walking. You're maybe going like 1.1% faster than you normally go. I'd like to see that change for this game. I don't know if it will. I don't think it will. I think the game is supposed to be a lot slower than other first-person shooters. It's supposed to be a lot more tactical, but I have to question why they would even add a sprint in the game if it doesn't really feel like it does much. Besides, you're putting your gun down in order to sprint, and so you're sacrificing a little bit of your own security to get somewhere faster, but you're not really running that much faster. That was just one thing that kind of bothered me there. Another thing is that the heartbeat sensor is possibly overpowered. When you're on the T side, I'm gonna say defend. Okay, so attack and defend. In Counter-Strike terms, defend would be terrorists and attack would be counter-terrorists when you're playing the hostage game mode, which is essentially what this game is. It's like that game mode from Counter-Strike that nobody really likes to play, where the Counter-Strike team has to go in and actually rescue the hostage and then take him to an extraction point. Even in Counter-Strike, those maps usually felt a little bit more T-sided, and it never really came down to actually getting the hostage to the extraction point. It usually played out that one team or the other team would have all their players dead, and then that would be the thing that ended the round, not actually rescuing the hostage. And this game played very similar to that. I played it all day. I don't think I ever saw the hostage get rescued once. I don't think I saw that happen once. So maybe if there's a way to make this a little bit less defended-sided, I'm going to say T-sided again, because you're essentially terrorists holding someone hostage, then I don't know. But the heartbeat sensor is available, and you see it actually in the class that I'm using right now. When you're defending, when you have the hostage, you get a shotgun. There's a shotgun class where it comes with a heartbeat sensor and barbed wire, and I think that's it. So barbed wire and a heartbeat sensor. And when you pull it up, I mean, I think there was one class on the attack side where you didn't show up on the heartbeat sensor, because I actually had an instance where it didn't work, where I was looking at a doorway and some guy just like came around the doorway when I was holding up the sensor and just mowed me down and I didn't see him. So I don't know if there's a stealth class that counteracts that, but as you'll see from this clip that's about to come up here in just a minute, it is pretty insanely like effective, especially when you have the shotgun, especially in a close quarters map like Plane, like this map was. Maybe they need to dial it back, but then again, the shotgun is pretty limited in its efficiency. It's only efficient in really specific circumstances, like if they're right next to you. If there's any space between you and someone and they have a P90 or a FAMAS or something like that, you're never going to win that fight with a shotty. So I don't know. It's kind of like, we'll see how that plays out. The last thing I'm going to say that I wasn't the biggest fan of is that even though this is titled a Rainbow Six game, it doesn't really feel like Rainbow Six, which isn't to say that it's bad. I'm going to get into that a little bit more in a little bit. But you know, I actually played a lot of Rainbow Six Vegas and Rainbow Six Vegas 2. I played the first Rainbow Six when it came out on PC, like 15 years ago. Super simmy game, you know, one shot would usually kill you on the hardest difficulty, and this game has some elements of Rainbow Six, but it does feel very much separate from the Rainbow Six universe that I'm used to playing in. Now, whether or not that's a bad thing, I don't know. My only assumption, or one guess that I have, would be that the market for that kind of game just isn't as appealing to the mainstream as it once was, especially when you have games like other Titan first-person shooters out there that sort of cater to a casual audience. My guess was that they wanted to sort of bridge the gap between that and still have a game that required specific strategies and tactics, as opposed to it being sort of a twitchy shooter. And I'm just going to segue right into what I did like about the game. One of the things that I liked about the game is that it was more simmy than other first-person shooters that you're gonna play. Guns usually kill in like a headshot's usually one shot kill, and then the most amount of bullets you're gonna take, I think, is probably like 3 bullets. And all the guns shoot pretty fast, and so the time to kill is really, really high. Your health does not regenerate. And that produces a sense of anxiety that I don't normally feel in first-person shooters, especially because when I die in most other shooters, I just respawn and I'm back in the action. In this game, there's a lot more writing on what class you use, on what map you're playing on, and how you use that class. And so it really does force you to think about what strategy you want to take. And I like that. I really, really like that in first-person shooters. It's not. It's a totally different kind of appeal to me than a Call of Duty or a Halo. And it fills a niche that I believe is still out there. I think that there are still plenty of players out there that enjoy that kind of first-person shooter. The destructibility in this game is way more in depth than I thought it was. Like I had times when I was playing this alpha where I thought I was totally fine behind this wall. Like, I think it's in this gameplay that you're going to see coming up in a little bit. But I had set up a barricade, and then I had set up some barbed wire, and I thought, like, if anyone's going to come past me, they have to come through this door that's right in front of me. And lo and behold, the wall behind my back literally blows the fuck up, and all of a sudden I had no cover, and I got rushed by like 4 dudes, and it was really intense. And completely surprising. Literally every single surface can be destroyed on some level. Some of the walls you can only pepper through them, and you can't blow them up entirely. But it really blew me away. I've never seen destructibility in a game like this. I'm sure that there are some out there that have this kind of destructibility. But as far as I can tell, like, and you can see right now, like, watch when I sprint. Like, I thought there was maybe a guy up there, but I was wrong. Like, watch what happens when I sprint. You're barely going any faster. Like, that's what I was talking about earlier. Yeah, the realism, the simmy kind of nature to this game, that's still there from Rainbow Six, and I dig that. All the classes seem pretty distinct. Like, the shotgun class feels completely different from the assault rifle class. Submachine gun class feels completely different from the assault rifle class. And I dug that. And the last thing I want to say about what I would, well, actually, there's also picking spawn locations. I thought that was a really neat thing. You've seen that in other games, but particularly in this game, when you're trying to predict, like, where's the enemy team going to hide their hostage, and what's going to be the easiest way for me to get to them, or the fastest way. and then picking up on the enemy team's patterns. Like usually when they find a room to place the hostage in, because like when you're attacking, you get to pick where you want the hostage to be. You want to pick where you want to fortify and hold him up. Sometimes it's a good idea to send someone out to be sort of a floater. So like if the counter-terrorist team or the attacking team picks the wrong side, then you can sort of be there to pick it, like maybe a couple people off as they're making their way towards where you're at. It was really a lot of fun. I really dug this alpha. The last thing I want to say that I really liked is right there on the screen what you saw when it says 4v1. I loved that. I thought that was so cool. Like and it makes the pressure. Like a lot of times when you're playing a game like Search and Destroy or Counter-Strike, you're calling out to your teammates if you're in a Skype call or something like that, how many left, and for them to just put it on the screen like that, like you know that it's 3v4, you know that it's 2v5, and it gets really intense when you see that 1v5 or 1v4 pop up on the screen. That really gets your heart rate going, and I hope other games adopt that model, because I thought that was a really neat addition that they made to the game. Let me know what you guys think about this game. Are you disappointed that Rainbow Six went in a different path than what they've normally done with their games? Do you think that this is a warm addition? Are you going to give this game a warm welcome to the FPS market? Do you think that it's my opinion that games like this haven't really been given their day in court in I want to say like 5 or 6 years. Rainbow Six was sort of like the premier game that was doing this sort of strategy. And when I say premier, I don't mean to say that there aren't other games like it. I mean to say that this was sort of the only AAA title that sort of pushed this genre in this sort of direction. In any case, if you played the alpha, if you didn't play the alpha, please feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. And I hope you guys have a good week, and I will talk to you all later. Bye.